So I'm Grace Palladino. I am somehow now working for Draw the Lines as their schools coordinator. And I guess the story I will tell is how I went from a public school teacher just a few years ago to being at my favorite brewery with Chris Satullo whispering in my ear, "Kiddo, there's not enough names in the hat." I love that he calls me kiddo. So I think I'll start with the election, like most of us should. The presidential election, as you might remember, like any white liberal woman, I lost my fucking shit. And like I was like, what do you mean America's a racist? So I lost my mind. At the time, it's sort of important to understand the background. I was also inexplicably living on the second floor of an ice cream parlor in South Philly. So if I do like this gets broadcast anywhere, this is like 100% an illegal apartment that I was living in. My front door was the actual front door of the gelato shop. It's on Passyunk Avenue. It's like literally world renowned. And she was not allowed to have apartments upstairs, but I couldn't resist. So I lived upstairs, and so I had access to the front door and the first floor of this apartment, which was closed all winter because like no sane American would want to eat gelato in the winter. And if you recall, the election was right before the winter. So election day, I lose my shit. A very good friend offers me bread and cocktails, and he lives in Southern California. And so I take him up on this offer and I flee from Philadelphia. Because I have a flair for the dramatics, the only thing I bring with me for this like 2-day jaunt in Southern California is this weird little statue I have, and the name escapes me right now, but it was gifted to me from a friend who lived in Spain. And in Spain they have these like, please shout it out if you know what this is, but it's like these sacred relics of famous individuals shitting. Nobody? This is a real thing. So like when you see this thing later, you're gonna be like, oh my God, that's a thing that this chick talked about. Okay, so it's a real thing. And like nativity sets in Spain literally are like everybody who would appear in the nativity set shitting. Like life size, like it's legit. Like I'm not blowing smoke up your ass, this is legit. So she had gifted me one of these, and of course, because I am a white liberal woman, it was of Hillary Clinton shitting. And with her little like terrible haircut and everything. So that's the only thing I took to Southern California, right? Because I love drama. And I arrive in Southern California, I have one too many cocktails and not enough bread. And I take my Hillary statue and I just walk to the ocean. So dramatic. And I walk to the ocean and I get to the dunes and I bury Hills in the dunes. And I whisper to the sand, I'll come back to you when Pennsylvania is safe. Like, I'll bring you back, you know, when we're blue again. And I finally, after 2 or 3 days, I'm like, I gotta go back to my life. And I finally open up Facebook, as we all terribly do. And I remember that I'm a part of, remember Pantsuit Nation, right? So I'm like, love Pantsuit Nation. Also, I'm like, shit, Pantsuit Nation is like losing its fucking shit, like 3 days after the election. And everyone, because Facebook and Putin are like, up our asses all the time. And so it's like funneling me to like women in Philadelphia who want to meet, and they don't have any spaces to meet, and it costs money to meet in spaces, and you got to like buy beer, and right? And so I was like, oh shit, I have all this free space because I have the front door keys to an empty gelato shop on Passyunk Avenue. So I was like, I was like, if any resistance organizations want to meet, I got a spot, but you can't like really broadcast it because like 100%, it's like illegal for me to be using the first floor of this gelato shop to like fight Trump. So and then so everyone starts messaging me. So I just put like code words on the front door of this gelato shop. And it's like different organizations are meeting like every night of the week when I get back to Philly. And so I start to just like come downstairs, right, because I live upstairs every so often, and at the end of all these meetings, so I am, in fact, a public school teacher of government and civics. I taught for just over a decade, which is a cool way of saying 11 years. And I would come downstairs and people would ask me questions. Like, for instance, what's this deal we're hearing about faithless electors? Like, what is that? And I would explain it, or a lot of stuff about the Electoral College. And so as I'm explaining it one evening, everyone's drinking, because like, who gives a shit? You're in an illegal ice cream parlor. And someone says, yo, I have a friend who runs a bar who would let you do this once a month, just like explain things about civics. So I said, yo, I'll do that if you pay me in gin and tonics. And so skip to, a week later, I'm at National Mechanics explaining gerrymandering to a room full of like despondent, good white liberals. And I just am like breaking it down as I am right now, and someone from the Committee of 70, a good friend of mine, comes up to me and says, adults do not know about gerrymandering, and you seem to be at least comfortable addressing that. And there's a lot of opportunities for that kind of civic education for adults in Philadelphia. And I was like, as long as I can drink gin and tonics while I do that, that's fine with me. And so skip to 2 years later. Draw the lines, gestated in the belly of Philadelphia and was birthed. And I was more than happy to take a brief siesta from public school teaching to help connect gerrymandering and the future of America here in Philadelphia and Pennsylvania. The bell rang, right? Okay, thank you.